Welcome to the Scott Townsend Show, brought to you by Dietzo Man Productions.
All right, you're in control, Liz.
All right. Are there one or two experiences you look back on as having been especially valuable in helping develop your own leadership?
Yes.
All right, go for it.
Whoa. Let your cat tipping over your...
Yes. Yeah, I keep having to kick him off the table. Okay. All right, let's hear about this experience then.
Okay. There is a story I always go back to. I've probably told this 100 times. We were in a ropes for this one company I was working for. We did a ropes course this one weekend, and I was regional manager for Salesforce. And long story short, everybody was doing really well except for this one lady. And she was about your age, probably maybe a little older, but not much. And she did well in everything else except for the high element. And she was scared to death to do the high elements. And the day wore on. Everybody finished. Everybody, did the ropes course, except for her. She didn't do that piece, the high element. And so I told her, I said, if you want to, we can approach the high element, and we can go as high as you want to go. We can do 5 feet. We can go 5 feet and then come back right back down. Just see how it goes. Because I was hoping that if I can get her up high enough, she'll eventually see it's not so bad, So we did, went up into this, started off at this tree and went up, and then she'd freeze up. And so we'd just sit there. I wasn't trying to, I really didn't know really what I was doing. I just knew I need to take an easy hand, have an easy rein, have a light hand on this situation, and just let her discover what she can do, but with me underneath, just encouraging along the way. It's really going to be up to her. I'm not going to carry her up there. I'm not going to carry her across the high elements. I mean, either she's going to have to do it or not. And it took a long time. We got higher and higher, froze, higher, froze, crying. Don't look down, inch by inch. She made it across and went all the way to the end. And there was a zip line at the very end where you hook your carabiner or whatever to the zip line, and then you zip down to the bottom, and there's where everybody's waiting, And she zipped down, and everybody congratulated her, and she was so enthusiastic and happy, and she was so excited, and I was just wore out. I was not excited or enthused. I was happy for her, you know. And she went on to do really well in sales. She overcame a lot of personal doubt, self doubt, and fear, and how to overcome fear through that horrendous afternoon exercise. And what that taught me, that whole experience taught me that really is putting her first and being empathetic and just being there. It could have gone south at any point. She could have turned around and come back down, and that was going to be okay. But she didn't ultimately make it, and that just showed me that sometimes in leadership it's not real quick, and it's not real easy, and it's painful, can be a little emotional, can be a lot emotional. You're trying to work through other people. And so what's the best way to get the best out of them, and you can't do the job for them. You just encourage, be there, empathize with them, sympathize with them. But the end goal was to reach the end of the zip line. That's the goal. And we had to go through all these obstacles to get there. And finally did. So had a good outcome. I mean, even if she would have gone up 10, 20 feet and then come back down, that was more than what she had accomplished up to that point. So that would have been a win.
Mm-hmm.
And it might have helped that I was below her, so she couldn't go back down. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stand right here. She had no choice. But so that's my story.
Ben, do you have one?
I do, and I agree with Scott. That's a great story, by the way. And I agree with Scott that pain is a powerful teacher. And so I think probably learning if there's some element of pain in your life, and this applies to leadership as well. It can be a powerful teacher, and so to that extent, pain is a good thing. When I was I worked for a large corporation, multi-billion-dollar corporation. I worked in HR in the data and analytics area, and I was promoted to a position. Of course, I applied for it as a director of the data and analytics team, and I was going from lead analyst to director of this team. So now everybody was reporting to me, and and I was running the team. So I'd say there's some things in there I did well and I did right, and there's some other things that I did not so good. And it wasn't because I didn't want to do them well; it's because, frankly, I was overwhelmed. So one of the things that felt one of those meetings that I consistently put on the back burner or deprioritized with one-on-one meetings with people on my team that reported directly to me. And I wasn't doing this. It was kind of an unintentional kind of like error on my part. But when you're leading a
keep going,
team,
I'll be right back.
okay, when you're leading a team, the people who report to you, it's very important for them to feel like that they're connected in with their boss, that their boss understands them, understands where they're trying to go, and they need that face-to-face time because they need reassurance that everything's okay, and they're looking for feedback, either direct verbal or nonverbal. And there was one lady on my team who she probably had a shorter patience for my rejection of her one-on-one meetings. And again, I did feel like they were important, but in truth, not as important as me going to these other meetings that I had. And so I remember having a meeting with one of the vice presidents, and it was my one-on-one with my vice president. And this vice president told me, well, this person on your team has talked to me and said you keep, declining the one-on-one meeting, and I kind of got reamed for it. And my vice president was right. At the time, I'm like, well, you don't understand. Like, look at my calendar. This is ridiculous. I cannot do all this stuff. That being the case, I think as a leader, to bring your people along and to tend to their needs as intend to get them aligned with the mission and accomplish great things for the company, you have to take care of your people. And I was really committed to taking care of my people. That's the thing. As I look back, I really was. But I was a newer director, and being in a state of being overwhelmed, I just kind of sacrificed that one-on-one time with many of the people who reported to me so that I could attend all these other meetings and stuff. And there's other ways I could have done that, and I found other ways to do it later. But I'm kind of I follow John Maxwell, 5 Levels of Leadership. If you've never read that before, it seems like you have recognition there. was a huge influence to me. Also, Jack Welch at GE in the mid 80s. Those are big influences to me on how leadership should work.
Mm-hmm.
And so that really kind of forms, it resonates with me, and it forms my opinion about what good leadership looks like.
Right.
And my style of leadership is I was trying to, convert from, lead analyst where I was mostly focused on myself. And yes, I had duties for other people on the team to provide them this, that, and the other. Becoming that is my only job now, really, as a director, to be attentive to my team's need and their growth. And basically, I was neglecting that. And whether I intended to or not, that's what was happening. That's
Mm-hmm.
what was happening. And it was a hard truth for me. It was super sobering, and man, it was painful. It was painful because you're wrestling your own, reaction of self-defense, of making excuses for yourself. But you got to get to that pretty quickly. And I did. I went through those kind of things pretty quickly. Um, and and corrected that behavior. So that was a very painful lesson. Pain is a powerful teacher, and that was a great lesson for me. And the person who complained to the VP um, did me a favor. Did me a favor because she honed my awareness of how important those one-on-one meetings are, and kind of like having a no excuse kind of like mentality. So it's up to me. I'm the leader. So I have to lead this team effectively, and ignoring these one-on-ones. Sometimes it's unavoidable, and you have to reschedule. And I think that's just a part of life. But when you do it consistently, something's not right. And what was not right there was the pace of my growth as a new leader.
Mhm.
And I should have found a way. And after that, I did. And so that lady and I are great friends to this day.